to the Introverted Female Entrepreneurial Success Summit. This is a masterclass series on how to bust through your fear of visibility, radiate presence, and position yourself to attract new clients and create consistent income and profit. My name is Patience Ogunbona, and I'm the host of this, the Introverted Female Entrepreneurial Success Summit. I am also known as the visionary introverted woman. So you can tell why I have an ambition to help as many female entrepreneurs as possible to achieve the goals that they set for themselves and to succeed very, very well in business. And I'm bringing to you for this summit over a couple of days, some great speakers who are entrepreneurs themselves, achieved success in their own right, and they're going to share with you strategies and tools that you can use to succeed yourself. So today, I have with me a special guest who will be sharing her story with you, Rachel Smets. Rachel is a clarity coach, YouTuber, and two-time TEDx speaker, author, and trainer. And Rachel helps ambitious individuals create a plan to escape their corporate jobs to have the freedom of being their own boss. I like Rachel's belief. She believes that through clarity, confidence, and clear steps, you create the life you desire. And she also has a motto, a life motto that she lives by, which I like as well, which is live your life without asking for permission. Life is short. Start living. And so she's going to help you live today. And especially the key word that she uses there, freedom, is one of my 5 core values. So I am really excited about the tips and strategies she will share today. And her story is going to inspire you, and you're going to take away some great nuggets today. So let's welcome Rachel for her masterclass today, where she'll be sharing with you how you can gain clarity, confidence, and clear steps to help you achieve your freedom lifestyle. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you, Patience. Thank you. What a long introduction. Let's get started. Yeah, I love your name, by the way. Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for a wonderful introduction. I can't wait to, share values and share tips and help other people achieve the freedom that they really desire, because that's something I've achieved. So if I can do it, you can do it.
And I think that's the key. That's why you're the right person to speak into this, because you have the belief that if you can do it, anybody else can do it, and you're going to help people to achieve that today. So tell us a bit more about your story, how you got to become the person who talks about freedom, who asks people to give permission for freedom.
Yes, and by sharing my story, I would like to include, some tips and hope that whatever I share can, spark some ideas for anybody who's listening and viewing us. And because all I want to do is really help other people achieve their freedom life. So I'm going back a few years when I was still in my corporate job, and pretty much in a nutshell, I hated every minute of it. I'm not an office person. I'm not a person who wants to work for a boss. I'm in my heart and blood, I'm an entrepreneur, and I just wanted to be my own boss. But how, where, when, right? And so the reason I landed in corporate is because that's what's, expected. And that's what I see with all of my clients as well, and people around me. In fact, I think 90% of the people working in corporate that are unhappy, you think, okay, that's what I should be doing. We have a degree, we go to college, we're like, we're going into this direction. So, and then I landed in corporate, and then, you climb the ladder and the ladder and the ladder. It's like this type of management. And I was project manager and commercial manager, and then I kept climbing, but I was truly, truly unhappy. And so why you do it? Well, because you think you should be doing it, because the paycheck. A lot of people are like, yeah, but it's bringing me the security of the money. But what is security? Like, why can you not be an entrepreneur and have that security? And trust me, I had all these thoughts. So I totally understand these thoughts. And then comes the fear, like, oh, but what if I fail? And what if I can't succeed? And what if, the fear of the unknown? But I think we're going to talk a bit more about the fear afterwards in our talk today. And so, yeah, so there I was, thinking, okay, I need to please my parents, even at 40 years old, it's like, I want to please my parents, and it's just all, when I think back, I'm like, oh, geez, why did you not, quit sooner? But it's just a lot of these things, like the security, the paycheck, the shoulds, the people pleasing, thinking that's it. And then, finally realized, like, wait a minute, I'm climbing the ladder, but I'm climbing the wrong ladder. This is not my vision. This is not my purpose. This is not, and it took me to burnout to realize that. So my big pivot moment was my burnout. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. I was miserable. I was rock bottom. I was like, I couldn't even read one page anymore. I was at home. I just completely, I was like, oh, a wreck. And I started to rebuild myself, starting from zero. Like, wait a minute, what is it that Rachel wants? What is my purpose? What is my why? Why? What is it that I want to do? And everything that came back to me was like, well, I just want to help people. Like when I help someone and they're like, oh, Rachel, thank you so much. That's just, for me, that's fulfillment. And that's what I want to reach. It's freedom and fulfillment, the fulfilled life. And freedom is also my biggest value. Just like you said, it's one of your 5 core values. And freedom has a different definition for everyone. So whoever's listening and watching us right now, I want you to define for yourself, what does freedom mean to you? If we're talking a lot about freedom and fulfillment, what does that mean to you? Because it could be freedom of time to spend, with your loved ones. For me, it was freedom to travel the world, to travel full time, which right now I'm in Italy. Like, I'm here for 2 months and then I'll travel on. So it's just my biggest freedom is doing what I want, where I want, when I want, and what you said, like, stop asking for permission. Literally, like when I was working in corporate, you need to ask permission to buy a pen. You need to ask permission to buy some paper. Like, I hated that. No, I want to make my own choices. And to me, that's freedom to me. And so, so that's where I started. I had my burnout. I re-identified, like, okay, what is my purpose? What is my why? And then, and here it is, the key number 1 step. I made a decision that I was going to quit and I was going to achieve that freedom. And it may sound like, okay, easy. No, not easy. Like, that is, the more I think about it, the more I spend time with clients, that is truly the key first step. And I'm going to tell you why. When you make a decision, you're going to continue and take action steps. But the difference between making a decision and not is that for several years before I burnt out, I was like complaining and I was stressed and I don't like my job and I'm in this corporate job and I'm climbing the ladder, but I don't like it. And that's all I was saying. That's all I was saying until I made the decision that I was going to achieve my freedom. Until I made that decision, that's when action started coming, because I was like, okay, I'm done. What I want is freedom. And I started talking a language from the space where I wanted to be, not from the space where I didn't want to be. Does that make sense, Patience?
Yes, makes a lot of sense. I think the word making a decision would resonate with a lot of people, because a lot of times I think you're speaking here to introverted women, right? So, and I think one of the key challenges, first and foremost, is to say, are you introverted or extroverted or ambivert? Which would you put yourself in? Which bracket?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I am 100% introverted. And I know it may not appear like that because, but I can tell you, let me go back, to my childhood and young adulthood. Is I was so shy, low self-esteem, low self-confidence. I never spoke up. I was afraid. I was sitting in the back of the classroom. I never raised my hand. I was so shy. I was always like, keeping silent, like, oh, no attention to me, because what if I am stupid? I was like so self-conscious, like, what should I wear? How do I look? Do I look bad in this? And do I look bad in that? Like, the worst case scenario, I was number 1 people pleaser. Like, you name it, I had it. And I then started, even at work, like seriously, even at work, I was like, in a meeting, do you have any questions? No, I had thoughts, I had ideas. I never spoke up, because what if I ask a dumb question? Everybody would look at me or everybody would laugh at me. I was afraid of how I looked, how I, what I said, what I did. I would seriously. And I'm an introverted. Why? Because I like to be on my own. Like I like to be with people, but I work my best when I'm just on my own. Leave me alone. No need to talk to anybody. I'm 100% introverted. But, and here's the but, I learned to come out, be a public speaker, did 2 TEDx talks. I'm on YouTube every single week. Why? Because I have a message to share and I focus on the message. I stopped focusing on me, like, ooh, how do I look? How do I sound? I don't care. I have a message to share. So I learned that. And that is why some people think like, oh, you're an extrovert. No, I'm not at all. I do my thing. I do my video. I do my speaking with you here. And then I shut everything up and I'm just all by myself in the house and I continue my work and I'm the happiest person. So, and the second thing is I learned to grow my confidence. I researched confidence. I talked to a lot of very successful, people from all different kinds of backgrounds. I wrote a book about it. That's why I interviewed them. And I asked them, like, how do you become so confident? How are you so I literally thought those people are just born confident. No, they're not one of them, not one that I interviewed. So I learned the hacks of confidence, and we can talk more about that if you want to, but I really learned like nobody's born with confidence. It's a skill. It's like a muscle that you build, like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym once and you come out all muscled and toned. No, you go back and back and back. And confidence is the same thing. You take these small steps, and I have like in my book 11 hacks about, and I have an online course about it as well. And if anybody's interested, you can just message me and I'll share it with you. But it's something I learned. And again, what I said in the beginning, if I can do this, so can you. Like literally take steps every day, consistent steps every day, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, great. I see, some nuggets you've dropped here. First is make a decision.
Yes.
Then build your confidence as you follow through the path of the decision that you've made.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is you talk about consistency, and that's the key word. And again, I guess there are some myths around what it takes to be successful, and you've kind of busted it. It's quite simple. You said the people that you interviewed did not feel that they were born confident. They had to nurture it, they had to cultivate it. And in business, I guess, in the entrepreneurial world, what are some of the myths and beliefs when you first started that you had to go on your own journey to kind of bust those beliefs and those myths to be able to achieve what you've achieved today, a YouTuber, 2 times TEDx talk, author, and all the things you've done?
Yeah, I think, that's a really, really good question. I think myths. Okay, I love that word. I love to talk about myths. So first of all, yeah, that you're born with confidence. That's already a myth. Like, no, it isn't. You have to, build it. And the more you go, the more you learn, and the more you grow, and the more confident, and the more the more clarity you have in your when you make a decision and you get clear on your goal, the more clarity you have, the more confidence you will have, and the more confidence you will have, the more courage you will have to actually take action and build your own business. Another myth is that maybe entrepreneurs are fearless, and boy, everybody has fears. Like the more I talk to also again successful people and entrepreneurs, it's like, we're not fearless. Don't be afraid to say you have fears. Literally, like it's like a double. I'm not fearless. Like I'm traveling the world as a woman alone. I'm growing online. I quit my corporate. Do I have fears? Of course I have fears. But here's the thing: fear is growth. No fear, no growth. No risk, no fun. Same thing, right? And the only way to get more confident, the only way to achieve success, the only way to become an entrepreneur is to just always like burst through those fears and do it anyway. Like I have fears. I literally a month and a half ago, I sold everything because yes, I was already an online entrepreneur, but I wanted to be a full-time traveler and a full-time digital nomad. That's my ultimate freedom. So I made a decision in January to sell my house, to sell everything, and everything completed a month and a half ago. Did I not have fears? Boy, I had fears. Like, how many times I had that little voice like, Rachel, are you crazy? Rachel, what are you doing? Even my parents like, Rachel, no more home. Where are you going to stay? Like, and they don't even live in the country I was at. So it's like, oh gosh, I had to shut down that inner critic and inner voice and self-doubt constantly, daily, many times a day. So no, we definitely have fears, but I'm facing it. I'm doing it anyway. Why? Because I know, like, if you don't face fears, if there's one thing, I think the biggest, I don't know what you want to call it, value or quote or motto, live life without regrets. That's my drive. That's my drive. Like, I want to ask you, whoever's watching, when you grow old and you look back upon your life, do you want to look back and say, I did everything that I really wanted to do? Or, oh boy, I regret I didn't try. And for me, the thought of saying, oh, I wish I had done it. I wish I had done that. I wish I followed my dreams. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to be able to say, I tried it all and I've done it. And so, yeah, so I'm, fear is literally growth. And another thing is the fear, it's related. Fear and fear of failure, right? The fear of failure is one of the biggest and most common ones. The fear of failure and the fear of the unknown. So talking about fears, the fear of failure. Well, guess what? Failure is the biggest feedback. It's the best lesson. I want, like in my first TEDx talks, I said, I never make the same mistake twice. I make it 5 or 6 times just to make sure. You have to make mistakes because you learn so much. I've learned so much. What do I like? What do I don't like? I learned so much and I keep improving. That's growth. So fear of failure? No, I want you to fail. Why have fear of failure? If you don't try, you don't know. And then I'm going to ask you, like, where are you at right now? Are you stuck? Are you unhappy? Then what do you want to do? You want to continue feeling stuck, and then 5 years from now you'll be still stuck, still miserable, and you'll be 5 years older. Or you want to live life without regrets and try it and then fail and fall. I want to give you Patience an example. Like, when a baby, people relate to this all the time. When a baby starts to walk, right? It gets up, it falls. It gets up, it falls. Do you ever say, oh, you stupid baby, you can't even walk, stop falling? No. So we're angry. We're not angry at a baby, but we're angry at ourselves when we fail. I mean, it makes no sense. No, fall and get back up. That's the path to growth and success. It's to get back up. Fear of the unknown, another myth, like, oh, I can't do it because I don't know what's going to happen. Of course you don't know what's going to happen. I don't have a glass ball. I can't predict my future. And I always compare it with like standing on a very foggy beach. You stand on a very foggy beach and you want to know what's behind the fog. You can't see behind the fog. You can't see your future. The only way to know it is to take one step, and then things will become apparent. Opportunities will come, and then you take another step. It's like, oh, now I can do this, and now I can do that. And that's how you continue. But if you just stand there, well, you're not going to see your future and your goal. So you have to go. And another reason why the fear of the unknown is actually a big myth is I mean, everything, like the chair I'm sitting on, the phone you're holding, the book, everything started with an unknown. Everything in life, everything you touch, everything you wear, everything starts with a thought, an idea, and then it becomes created. So your goal is, now it's a thought, it's not there yet, and that's what people are afraid of. Like, yeah, but I'm not seeing it. But the lack of evidence, write this down, the lack of evidence is not evidence of lack. It's not because you don't see it that you can't create it. The lack of evidence is not evidence that you can't create it, that it's not evidence of lack. So
wow. That's a real you gave a very big nugget, which was the fact that you talked about fear of failure. You said, I never failed twice, I failed 5 or 6 times. And it's like, I came across the phrase that says failing forward, and it's like, you have used failure, or looking at the fear and just going against whatever grain that people think, okay, I've failed, I'll pack it in, you know, some people have said it's not worked twice, I'm going to give it up and not do it. And the entrepreneur journey is full of failure and a lot of dots that didn't work. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess the second one you just talked about, where you mentioned about fear of the unknown. So this
Mm-hmm.
is where creating your freedom lifestyle has required you to face the unknown, go out into the unknown. And there are a lot of female entrepreneurs who think my success will come from maybe borrowing ideas. My idea is not valid because I can't see anybody else doing it. Yet I know that introverted women, because of a lot of the superpower of being introspective, can actually see gaps in the market, can see things that they can influence, make a difference, just like
Mm-hmm.
you have done. Therefore, and the way you look at things. So tapping into that superpower is a great thing. So if you want to share in terms of what are some of the key things when it comes to creating a freedom lifestyle as an entrepreneur, what would make you think my product is viable, my idea is viable, I'm going to go for it to create my freedom lifestyle?
Mm. Really good question. And I would say, to answer really short, try it. If you don't try, you don't know. So go out and test it and try it. And but I want people to know that nothing is set in stone. Like, I did not know I was going to become a clarity coach for people who wanted a freedom lifestyle. Like, I didn't start with this. So I think that's really important to know, because when I started, I also thought, like, okay, I need to figure everything out, right? And I spent so much time like figuring out what business, what niche, what client. Like, I thought, okay, my niche are expats. And because I moved I moved abroad and I actually lived in different countries for many, many years. So I thought, okay, that's my niche. Those are the people I want to help. And I think for 2 years, I really put so much effort into trying that out and testing it. And it didn't come off the ground. It just, I don't know. It was off. My posting on social media, it just didn't resonate. It felt like so much hard work. And so it's really, and during those 2 years I was also tutoring languages because I love languages. Now I try different things, and that's what I want your audience to know. It's like, try different things if you're not sure, but understand that what you decide on, if you have a particular niche or particular product or something, it doesn't mean it's going to be that forever. It doesn't mean that you have to know right now, this is it for the rest of my life. Like, if you choose one route, and then after a year or 2 years, you switch and you take a left and you take a right, life changes
Mhm.
all the time. If there's one consistent in life, it's change. So what's wrong with making a turn here or there? And that's what I did. It's like, I always make sure that I had some income coming in. So I did some freelancing and I did some tutoring, and then I started some coaching, and then the expat thing, well, it didn't really go off, so then I tried something else. And I had like multiple things. Here's another myth: you don't have to do just one thing. I'm a multi-passionate. I cannot do one thing. I have my YouTube, I have my coaching, I have investments, I have teaching, I'm doing webinars, and I'm freelancing. Like, and I need that
That was definitely going to be
variety.
my next question, which was, and you really, this is a big one because a lot of people that I've met, including myself, multi-passionate. I like that word because you love to do a lot of things, and you
Yeah.
hear a lot of people say, no, you've got to focus on one thing. And
No.
sometimes it gets really tough. But you also talked about clarity comes from action, from really being willing to do what some might call trial and error,
Mm.
or it's trial and clarity, trial and understanding, which it's a nugget you dropped today, and it's also very important to recognize that you are doing all these things and feeling that you have the capacity, and it gives you the fluidity. Would you say that being able to be really truly express yourself as a multi passionate person is probably one key thing to remember about the freedom lifestyle?
Yeah, let me just clarify something, because maybe some people are not thinking, okay, hold on, Rachel, you're saying clarity, and then just, have the clarity on your one thing, right? Your purpose and your vision. And then on the other hand, I'm saying, okay, you're multi-passionate, you could do different things. Let me just clarify that just to make sure. So my purpose and my vision is to be a full-time, that was it. That's what when I started, right? It was like, I want to be a full-time digital nomad and have a freedom lifestyle. That was my clarity. That was like my one thing, my one big goal. I want freedom and be traveling the world. That's my one goal. Now, that one goal, there within that one goal, the multi-passionate fits right in, because even if I'm doing multiple things, it's all giving me the freedom and the chance to travel the world, because I'm working as all I need is my laptop. Does that make sense? So,
Yeah.
you don't have to choose one thing. Yes, I have one goal. I want to have, I want to make money with my freedom lifestyle. That's my one thing. But in order to do that, multiple streams of income is the way to do it. Like, think about all these successful people. Nobody has just one thing. Multiple streams of income is like, Google it and go on YouTube and search for it. It's like everybody's talking about that, because nobody gets rich from just coaching or just this or just that. Nobody. Wow, I think I should make a video on that. Like all these myths I just mentioned, I'm going to go over the recording.
Do you feel that it's important to at least start with one and achieve mastery, or it doesn't really matter? You can have 3 or 4 things that you're working towards mastery, or would you say mastery in one particular thing, then the rest are just like subsets of your other skill sets? So basically your mastery will be in your area of strength, and then the rest of it you can just look.
Yeah, I think that's very valid what you just said. You will always have 1 or 2 main things, like, your biggest income streams. Like for me, that's, definitely the coaching. It's really my main thing. And then the other things can obviously grow to become very, very good income streams, which in my case, they have some of them, but definitely try to master one thing. But, if you're multi-passionate, you want to have a combination, just to kind of, if you're multi-passionate, you need to get your energy from multiple things, right? So yes, master one thing, but make sure you have those other balls in the air, right? And juggle that, because otherwise I lose my energy if I would just do one thing.
And it's great that just looking at you and the energy that is flowing from you, it's almost equivalent to saying you have permission for multi-passionates, including myself, to say thank you. This is really great information. So if you were to leave the listeners with one single action that they need to take today, or 2, but at least one key thing of all the things you've said, one key nugget that would be like a key, you have a master key, open the door, and the rest, what would you say would be that one key message?
Yes, I am going to say what comes to my mind first, and something I haven't mentioned yet, but it is key. It is, from now on, surround yourself, and I'll tell you a very specific action, but what I want to say is surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do. And that is key. Like, let me explain this, and then I'll tell you a very specific action. When I was still stuck in corporate, and I was surrounded with colleagues and a boss, and listening to my parents, who I love to bits, but they all kind of like pulled me into the direction that I didn't want to be. They kept me stuck, because they just stay, colleagues stay in their job. Your boss wants you to stay in that job. And it made me so unhappy. The moment I made the decision to shift is also the moment I started looking at, wait a minute, who inspires me? Who do I want to be? Like, who is out there that has what I want? And I started, when I wanted to do a TEDx talk, I started speaking to people who did TEDx talk. When I wanted to publish books, I started to talk to authors. When I wanted to become a digital nomad, I started hanging around with those people. And my energy completely shifted, and I knew what actions to take. And I took a coach. I always still today work with a coach, because as long as I thought, I can do it all myself, I can figure it out myself, that's how I wasted most of my time. Really, that's how I wasted really a lot of my time. When I had a coach who did what I wanted to do, yes, it's an investment, but if you want to change, if you want to grow, and you're still in a corporate career, you have the money. I mean, you're not desperate, and so the action, I would say, from that, if you understand how important that is, I would say, who can you talk to today or latest tomorrow? But who can you talk to and have a conversation with, a chat with, with someone who's actually doing what you want to do, who is just 2 steps ahead of you, who inspires you, who reach out to that person. You can reach out to me, you can reach out to you, Patience. We're doing this to help you, and or anybody else who inspires you, but have a chat with them, because your energy will shift, because these people who inspire you, they've been where you are. If you would talk to me or to Patience, like, we're here to help you, we're here to support you, we're not going to push you back, we're not going to keep you stuck. We want you to grow. So that's the one key action that I definitely want to share.
And I think you've dropped so many nuggets today, and the words you used will resonate with the introverted woman: permission, getting out there, courage, and you talked about energy shift, a big one. A lot of times, introverted women do run out of energy, and it's because you need alignment with the right energy to up level it. And you're talking about levels, and what I like is the fact that even in entrepreneurship, you outgrow levels of people who are doing stuff. You need to now head off to the next level. If you've written one book, it's not yet a bestseller, then you need to talk to people who are writing bestsellers, similar kind of. So you've shared so much, and it's been brilliant. And you do have extra, even you have a free gift. So tell us about this free gift that
yes,
people can really
I made
get.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, you can find a lot of value on my YouTube channel. If you know how to spell my name, Rachel Smets, Smets, just put it in YouTube and find my videos. They're all for free, and I'd love to see you there. And then my free training that I offer is a 7-step, to really get unstuck into going to that freedom lifestyle. So I really go into detail. It's a bit over, I think it's approximately half an hour, but it has a ton of value. I really try to keep it concise. It's 7 steps that where you are now, it's like, yeah, I want to change, but I don't know how, I don't know, it's really going into like, this is what you have to do, like bam, 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 bam. So if you like this talk, then you'll like my video training as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Rachel, for this. And, this is just almost like the tip of the iceberg of what you will get from this summit, from this series of masterclasses. I encourage you to make sure that if you've watched this one and you're thinking, wow, 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 which I believe you be saying, then you're in for a treat for other speakers. So make sure that you join in and watch the other series, masterclass series. Well, I want to say thank you to Rachel, and thank you for sharing your free gift, which would be available to click after watching the video. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Was a pleasure. Thank you so much.